welcome to my channel. So today I will be discussing the summary of The Picture of the Dorian Gray. It's a novel by Irish writer Oscar Wilde and it was published in July 1890. So the novel is set in Victorian England. So before moving into the summary of this novel, I will be explaining some important characters so that it will be easier for you to understand. The first character, or we can say the protagonist of the story, is Dorian Gray. He is a 20-year-old, very wealthy, stunningly beautiful and very handsome young man, or we can say that he is a narcissistic person. Narcissistic means a person who has been obsessed with one's own self-image and ego, or we can say that this person is self-centered, self-obsessed, or self-loving person. He just loves himself. He is in love with oneself. The other character is Basil Hallward. He is a painter. He is a very deeply moral man and he admires Dorian. He is a friend of Dorian and he admires Dorian. The third character is Lord Henry Wotton. He is a friend of Basil Hallward, and he is quite opposite of Basil Hallward. So Lord Henry Wotton is a nobleman. He is a nobleman, but he is very arrogant and he values beauty above all. And the fourth character is Sybil Vane. She is a very talented actress and singer, and she falls in love with Dorian Gray, and she is from a very poor family. And the fourth character is James Vane. He is a younger brother of Sybil Vane and he is a sailor. He wants to be a sailor and he leaves for Australia to become a sailor, and he is such a protective brother. So let's begin the summary of this beautiful novel. So Dorian Gray meets Lord Henry Wotton at the studio of Basil Hallward, who is using Dorian as a model for his latest painting. Lord Henry tells Dorian about his Epicurean views on life and convinces him of the value of beauty and beauty above all the things. The young and impressible Dorian is greatly moved by Lord Henry's words. When Basil shows them the newly completed painting, Dorian is flooded with awe at the sight of his own image and is overwhelmed by his fear that his youth and beauty will fade. He will soon become old. He became jealous that the picture will be beautiful forever while he is destined to wither and age and he will get old. So he passionately wishes that it could be the other way round. Dorian wishes that his painting may age and I will stay young forever and will not age. So Lord Henry is fascinated with Dorian's innocence as much as Dorian is impressed by Henry's cynical, sensual outlook on life. They became fast friends. To Basil's dismay, Basil does not like Lord Henry Wotton because he is quite arrogant and he values beauty above all. So he fears that Henry will be a corrupting influence on the young innocent Dorian whom he adores. So Dorian and Lord Henry became fast friends and often dining together and attending the same social functions. Henry's influence has a profound effect on the young man, who soon adopts Henry's views as his own, abandoning ethical restraints and seeing life in terms of pleasure and sensuality. So Dorian falls in love with the beautiful Sybil Vane, a poor but talented young Shakespearean actress. They are engaged to married until Dorian brings Henry and Basil to a performance where her acting is terrible. It was horrible. It was very bad. So Dorian confronts Sybil backstage and she tells him that since she is now truly in love, she no longer believes in acting. Disgusted and offended, Dorian breaks off their engagement and leaves her sobbing on the floor. When he returns home, he discovered that the figure in his portrait now bears a slightly different and more hideous facial expression. So Dorian awakens late the next day feeling guilty for his treatment of Sybil and writes an impassionate love letter begging her forgiveness. Soon, however, Lord Henry arrives and informs Dorian that Sybil committed suicide last night. Dorian is shocked and wrecked with guilt, but Henry convinces him to view the event artistically, saying that the superb melodrama of her death is a thing to be admired. Succumbing to the old man's suggestion, Dorian decides that he need not to feel guilty, especially since his enchanted portrait will now bear his guilt for him. The picture will serve as his conscience, allowing him to live freely. When Basil visits Dorian to console him, he is appalled at his friend's apathy towards Sybil's death. Dorian is unapologetic and annoyed by Basil's adulation of him. Paranoid that something might discover the secret of the painting and therefore the true nature of his soul, Dorian hides the image in his attic. Over the next several years, Dorian's face remains young and innocent despite his many selfish affairs and scandals. He is an extremely popular socialite, admired for his fine taste and revered as a fashionable trendsetter. The picture, however, continues to age and grow more unattractive with each fold deed. Dorian cannot keep himself from looking at the picture periodically, but he is appalled by it and is truly happy when he manages to forget its existence. He immerses himself in various obsessions studying mysticism, jewelry, music, and ancient tapestries. These interests, however, all are merely distractions that allow him to forget the hideousness of his true soul. One night, Basil visits Dorian to confront him all about all the terrible rumors he has heard. The painter wants to believe that his friend is still a good person. Dorian decides to show him the portrait so that he can see the true degradation of his soul. But when Basil sees the painting, he is horrified and urges his friend to repent for his sins. Basil's reaction enrages Dorian and he murders the artist with a knife. To dispose of the body, he blackmails an estranged friend, Alan Campbell. He is a chemist who is capable to burn the body in the attic's fireplace. So Alan has already been driven into isolation by Dorian's corruption influence, and this action eventually compels him to commit suicide. So not long after, Dorian visits an opium den and is attacked by James Wayne. He is a brother of his Sybil brother who has sworn revenge on the man that drove his sister to suicide. 18 years have passed since the event, however, yet Dorian still looks like a 20-year-old youth. James thinks that he is mistaken and Dorian escapes before his would-be murderer learns the truth. Over the next several days, Dorian lives in fear, sure that James is searching for him. While hunting one day, Dorian's friend Geoffrey accidentally shoots a man hiding on Dorian's property. The stranger is revealed to be James Wayne. Dorian is overcome with relief but cannot escape the fact that 4 deaths now wake on his conscience. Deciding to change his life for better, Dorian commits a good deed by refusing to corrupt a young girl who has fallen in love with him. He checks the portrait hoping to find that it has changed for the better, but when he realizes that the only thing has changed is the new hypocritical smirk on the ringed face, he realizes that even his efforts to save his soul was driven by vanity. In a fit of despair, he decides to destroy the picture with the same knife that he used to kill Basil, its creator. Downstairs, Dorian's servants hears a shriek and run upstairs to find the master dead on the floor, the knife plunged into his own chest. Dorian's youthfulness continuance is gone, and his servants are only able to recognize him by the jewelry on his fingers. I hope this video is helpful for you. If you find the video helpful, please like this video, share this video and subscribe to my channel.